I want to welcome you to this presentation. My name is Ulrika Sullivan. I'm an intuitive spiritual life coach, and I am broadcasting from Boston, Massachusetts area. I want to tell you a little bit about me first before we dive into this topic. And the topic is soul growth made easy with a heart-based lifestyle. And we're going to dive into all of this. But first, I want you to get to know me a little bit. As I said, I'm an intuitive spiritual life coach. I'm a yoga teacher and an energy healer. And I'm also a wife, a mom of 3 girls. And I'm mom to 5 pets as well, 1 dog, 3 cats, and a guinea pig. So it's a busy life, but I am passionate about helping you see your life in a new light. And what that means is that I am passionate about to help you find your life balance and inner calm. And that has come to me through many years of not feeling like that. So you'll hear all about it in a minute here. So as I said, the topic we're gonna spend the next 45 minutes on is soul growth made easy. And welcome everybody that's coming in right now with a heart-based lifestyle. So are you ready today to make a little shift here in your life? And I hear a loud yes from you. I do hear it. So great. So let's get started. But first, I wanted to also thank you, give a big thank you to the Guidely team who invited me to speak here today and also partner with on this beautiful, beautiful platform that is soon going to be launched. And I also want to say thank you to you, because when you signed up for this, you had so many talks, so many presentations to choose from. You signed up for this one. And that tells me something about you. Because wherever you are on your soul journey, there was something in this presentation, in the title, something in the energy of what you saw that drew you in and you signed up. So here you are. I just want to say thank you to being here with me today. And because that's in a way how life works, right? We show up to presentations, to ideas, to books, to events, and we just show up. And it's not just because we want to, it's because our soul wants us to receive something. So you are here for a reason, and trust that. Now, what we're going to do for the next, let's say 30, 35 minutes here is that we're first going to, through these 30 minutes, we're going to find a little bit more out about what it is to live a heart-based lifestyle. And my intention for this talk today is really for you to discover at least one little thing about yourself that can take you into the next level of heart-based lifestyle and living through your heart more so than what, and we're gonna get to this a lot more than living through the mind and in that energy. So that is my intention, for you to discover at least one little nugget. And what we're going to do is that we're first, of course, we're going to tap into our heart space. And we're going to do a very short little meditation, but it's such a powerful meditation. So I invite you to join me for that. It's just to open up to this energy of the heart. And then I'm going to share with you 3 lessons, or let's call it ways, that not only I have learned along the way in my journey, but also ways that you may want to consider as part of your journey into a more heart-based lifestyle. And then I have actually, a coach like me, I cannot have a talk without preparing some questions for you. So I have some questions for you so it may be good to bring out a piece of paper or pen, or, use your notes on your phone, have that ready, because you will get to work a little bit as well. And after that, if we have time, we'll have a little Q&A. How does that sound to you? I hope you're excited as I am about all of this. So let's now just settle in. I want to really just center everyone before we move into this topic. And I'm going to shift the slide here. So I hope you can see my slides and me at the same time. So let's just you may have come into this session today from a busy morning or afternoon, wherever you are in the world. So this is or from another session at this online summit so you may have received a lot of inspiration, of course, and influences. But now I just want to take you through a minute or two of a meditation to tap into your heart space. So let's sit in a comfortable seat here and allow your spine to be tall. Uncross your legs and put both feet on your floor. And if you're driving a car, you don't do this. So you can just follow along. But if you're in a room where you can, for a minute or two, allow yourself to just be still. Put your hands on your heart like this. I hope you can see, but put them really on your heart, on top of each other, and gently close your eyes if that's comfortable. And bring your attention to your feet and sense the floor underneath your feet. Just feel the floor against your feet for a moment here. And let's take a full inhale through the nose. And just fill your lungs all the way up to the top and hold it there for a moment. Feel your heart here and release through the mouth. Let's take one more inhale here. Really press your hands towards the heart here and feel that space. Feel your heartbeat. Inhale here and hold it at the top. And then a big exhale through the mouth. Now I'd like you to envision a big fluffy heart, a soft pink or soft green fluffy heart right in front of you. And now I want you to invite someone into your inner image here that may need a little extra support today. And what I wanted you to do here is to send that fluffy heart, that energy to that person. See that heart pulsing and healing heart energy to that person. Send it. And in return, you're receiving a fluffy pink or light green heart from that person back. Receive it. So let that heart travel between you and a person that you may want to support a little extra today and give little heart energy to, and you'll receive it back as well. Imagine this heart traveling back and forth between you. And let's just take another inhale here through the nose and release through the mouth. And lastly, go and notice your feet again. against the floor. And when you feel ready, blink open your eyes to your room. Welcome back. How do you feel? Did it feel good to receive a fluffy heart back? And it felt good perhaps to send out this heart energy to someone that you feel may need a little extra support. So that's a practice that you can take with you to tap into your heart space. Next here, I'd like to share with you a personal story. So imagine here, I'm in my car. I'm in my car on my way to my very high visible corporate job, speeding down the highway. In the back are my 3 daughters that I'm on my way on the minute to drop off at their schools. And I know exactly what I need to do that day. You can feel that energy of having it all lined up. Everything has just a plan from the minute I'm waking up in the morning to I close my eyes in the evening. And you can see me there in the car with the girls driving down the highway. I arrived to the school and I dropped the first daughter off. Okay, all good. Rushing to the second schoolroom and dropping off number 2, daughter number 2. And at the third classroom, what happens here has stuck with me for a long time. So I enter the classroom, I talk to the teacher, and she turns around to me and says, "Your daughter is sick. Your daughter has a fever. She cannot be at school today. You have to take her home. You have to turn around and drive her back home." And what happens here is something that I've never, ever experienced before. And you can imagine me being this in this energy of, I have everything lined up. I'm just going to drop off the girls. And now I'm going to go to 5 meetings, 3 presentations, a number of negotiations throughout the day. I have it all lined up. And here is the teacher telling me, you have to turn around. You have to go home. And what that meant to me is that I totally broke down in that moment. I started to cry. And I have never cried in public like that before. I saw a whole house of cards just falling down inside me, because that is how I used to live my life. And why I broke down simply, and why I'm telling you this, is that I was living a mind-driven, what I call a mind-driven life, completely shut off from my heart. Driven by expectations, external expectations, driven by all the shoulds in the world, driven by a way that I was supposed to live, because that is how you succeed. And here I am crying in my daughter's classroom, because I realized that my perfect day that I had lined up was not going to happen. Now, I call this being on autopilot, and you may not have a similar scenario, but you may recognize elements of this energy in your life currently, where you and I, what happened is that relying on ourselves and only ourselves to make our life happen. And that's a mind-driven lifestyle. The good news is here that this autopilot way of living catapulted me into a transformation. A few years later, I really had an epiphany around what I needed to do. And that's what I'm going to share with you next. And the 3 lessons that I've boiled down to and want to share with you today. So I just want you to feel that energy of the mind-driven lifestyle before we let that go and dive into the heart and a heart-based lifestyle, and why that is so nourishing for our soul, because that's our true self. All right, so I want to share some of the lessons here, and I'm going to show you 3 different areas that I have kind of learned along the way. And the first one is simply this: when you allow intuition and your heart energy to become a priority, you invite life with ease. So consider that for a moment as a lesson or a learning or a way to create a path to a heart-based lifestyle. Because isn't it so that not only the situation we're in now in the world, where so many of us have been feeling that we're walking around and identify us as single entities walking around on this earth, and flavored by the energy of separation, right and wrong, mind and logic, expectations and so on. But there is a shift happening where the integration of mind, intuition, and heart is coming together. And that is a completely different energy. When you integrate your intuition, your connection to the universe, if I call it that, simplified, your heart energy and your mind, because you still need your mind, but it's the mind is not in the forefront. It's the heart that is in the forefront, your intuition, that type of energy. And that helps us to make a shift into feeling unified, unity consciousness, more of a connected being with our environment, with others, because we realize that we're a soul among other souls that are equal. Not only this insight is also an energy of finding out what your talents are, tapping into your gifts, tapping into creativity, that this mind-based lifestyle has never even considered, because there's a linear energy to the mind-based lifestyle, while the heart-based lifestyle, if we call it that, simplified in terms, it's that we're coming together. And why I also realized until I made it a priority, nothing else was going to happen. So that's why I've highlighted the word priority here. It has to come forward into our world as a priority. Now, in my case, as I said, I depended in my previous, the way I showed up in a mind-based lifestyle was definitely, I relied only on myself to create my world. But now I rely on my intuition, my heart energy, my true self, my talents, my gifts. And what that has provided me is a sensation of community with not only with the world, with nature, with other energies that are available to all of us, as long as we have to make it a priority to tap into it. And that is an energy of being part of a whole rather than feeling isolated and separate. So I hope that makes sense. It's a big big shift, obviously. And I'm going to show you, I have another slide here, a little tool. Actually, this is the quote that also spoke to me when I prepared this talk, and that speaks to the need to make it a priority. And I'll read through it here. You can see it on the slide. You have to decide what your highest priorities are and have the courage, pleasantly, smilingly, non-apologetically say no to things, other things. And the way to do that is by having a bigger yes burning inside. Yes, so that quote is from Stephen Covey. So that tells it in a nutshell, right? Until we find it as important as it can be for us, the shift won't happen. And that is certainly a big lesson for me. Now, I want to share with you a little tool that you can use to really tap into your heart space when you feel you're all up in your mind. And that is a very simple tool here. And that's asking yourself, what does your mind say? Because we all have answers with our mind. The mind is expert to coming up with solutions and answers on the spot, right? But then the added layer to this is to ask yourself, what does my heart say? And that might be a different answer. So and that's where you integrate the mind with the heart and your intuition. Now, I should say that the heart energy within us is very similar to the energy that we're using when we tap into our intuition. And there's actually research out there that says that the heart energy, our aura is from the heart, is about 60 times greater than the energy that we generate by the mind. So the impact of not connecting the heart in our decision making, for example, is very, we receive just a limited view if we only, make decisions, for example, with our brain or with our mind energy. All right, so let's move on here. And so this is lesson or way number 2 that I offer up for you to consider. When you align with your natural energy, you invite soul growth. And this, I want to share a little story with you with someone that I worked with recently. And she came to me, and she's a very successful entrepreneur, very successful company, a woman who's really built her business from the ground up and very successful. And she came to me and said, "Hey, Ulrika, I don't know what I'm really good at outside work." And she has come to the place where she's like, I feel half. I don't feel that I'm a full woman, a full person. I'm just really so focused on work and my business, and I enjoy that very much. I'm very blessed that way, she said. But so what I started with really here was to ask her, what do you do for fun? And that was a question that, stumped her totally. Like, what do you mean? What do I do for fun? And she had no idea what her answer to that would be. She drew completely blank. And she was in doubt, like, I don't know, maybe it's this or this or this. Maybe it's this, I don't know. I'm very back and forth as far as what she wanted to respond to my question. And this is really a symptom of not being aligned with your natural energy. And what is your natural energy? Well, that is your heart energy. That is who you are in your soul. So not being aligned, and also your natural energy is what comes easy to you. And I come across many people that are not aligned with their natural born unique energy that's just unique to them. And that provides a block. It's just cloudy. They don't connect to what their talents and gifts are. But when that happens, when that connection happens, it's just opening up. And that's why our soul grows when we connect the heart energy and stepping into our natural abilities, our natural gifts. So that is really when you align that, when you step into it, that's when soul growth happens, I've learned. And I just want to share with you also how do you find out, because that might be a question of yours. How do you find out what's my natural energy? That's a very relevant question to ask. The way to find that out, first of all, I use tools that are available to us, such as astrology, human design. The energy, the quality of your energy, or the characteristics of your energy is right there in your birth chart, for example, or in your human design chart. However, to really tap into that and tap into your heart is, first of all, to slow down. Slow down, and so that insight can come to you, the pause in your life. And the situation that we're in right now actually has provided a lot of good things for you, hopefully. And in terms of slowing down, taking a pause, and connect and align with what's natural to you. So that's a gift. And if you haven't had a chance to do that, consider that opportunity. Because all of this, and my client who I worked with, she went from being very back and forth to stepping into, now she's doing pottery, she is going to cooking classes, she has built a network of women that is having Zoom meetings now, but around a topic that really interests her outside her very successful business. And her business is flourishing even more. So aligning with your natural energy can actually not only benefit you and how you experience and perceive life, you can actually be even more productive and maybe make some shifts into utilizing those gifts and talents for yourself. So consider that. When I've aligned my own natural energy, I had that feeling of stepping into my life's work. There was like no point of return. There was not a choice, this or that. It was just that. So tap into that energy, like that point of no return. I'm doing it, and it's so right for me. So I hope that makes sense. Let's move on here. We're going to check on the time so that we have, I'm not going to, I'm just going to check here so that we still have 15 minutes. So that's great. Let's move on to the third, and soon you will be bringing out your pen and paper here to do some work for yourself. The third lesson, or the third way you can consider, is when you embody your unique energy every day, you create a heart-based lifestyle. Why this is so key is once we start to tap into and naturally aligning, there is an element of we have to do something differently in our lives. That's when we tap into embodying what we want. And naturally, we have to do something differently than what we've done before. And this is the hardest part, This is really, really the hardest part. And that's why I, as a coach, is partnering with you to take those little steps, because it's not a light bulb going off. It's not a major insight often. It's that everyday shift. It's the everyday little things that feel realistic to you, and you can feel the difference. So that's why it's so important to have as a intention to embody this change, not just kind of know it, but actually do it and embody it. So for me, I give you a little story about how I embodied my complete transformation from, the corporate stressed out mom to a person, a coach who live in flow and do my life's work basically, and helping others to make that shift themselves. So for me, the biggest shift in my everyday was to my mornings. And if you can, on one hand, imagine, in the morning previously, alarm went off. I had my to-do list on my nightstand. I rushed up and took a look at the to-do list and maybe added some things to it after, a night of figuring out what the next steps are for the next project. Rush into the shower, get ready, out the door with a coffee in my hand, and that speeding down the highway. So that was my morning previously. Now, my mornings are the sanctuary of my day, really. I have arranged for myself to actually wake up a little earlier. I always start my day with meditation. I use yoga and body movement, because after a night you kind of get a little stiff, and I love doing mantras and breath work in the morning. I also use other divination tools like reading cards, things like that. But what it does for me is that it sets up my day. And you can do this too. You can make this shift. So if your morning is really stressful, there is a way to shift that, to really tap into your heart space first thing in the morning. And there are ways to really, really shift this and embody what you want to set up your day to be. So that's just a little story around what made all the difference for me. And those days I may not get to my morning routine in the morning. That feels different. So if you're curious on how you can make these shifts for yourself, and maybe take one thing out of this presentation today to start making a shift, or maybe you've been on this path for a long time and want to take it to the next level, I have some questions for you. So bring out that paper or your phone and take some notes, because I'm gonna give you a little bit of questions here. So we still have a few minutes. All right, so let's get started with this. What does a heart-based lifestyle mean to you? And now use your intuition here. Just write something down off the bat, no thinking like this or that. Just write what comes through. You are already tapped into your heart space. So whatever comes through here, just write it down. 30 seconds, 15 seconds, 20 seconds or so. I leave you a little time here so that you don't have to listen to me, but yeah. And here, so what you're writing down here is really what you want to see in your next step. And there are some keywords here in what you wrote. The key here is get curious. Invite that energy of getting really curious. What is it that I really want? What is it that my heart wants? What does it mean to me to live a heart-based lifestyle versus maybe some other way, more through the mind that you've used to. So there is something in there. Otherwise, you wouldn't be here at this session right now. Let's move into the next question. And that is, what would be different in your life if you lived a heart-based lifestyle? What would be different? Just write down 15 seconds, just flow with it here. Great. Now look at what you wrote. And I want you to ask yourself, is it uplifting? Is it healing? Is it nurturing to you, what you wrote? And all of those things. And that's a little indication, like what do you want more of, what you want less of. So that's a good indicator. See if what you wrote was healing to you. Is it uplifting? Do you get excited about it? That's a heart-based energy. All right, so next question. This is the last question for you to consider. How could you embody your natural heart energy every day? Just one idea. Write down one idea for yourself today. Beautiful. That is beautiful. So look at what you wrote now, these 3 questions. There might be a really exciting clue for you in there. And as I want to summarize here, these insights and ways that you can allow heart-based lifestyle to emerge is by allowing your intuition and heart energy to become a priority. And secondly, align with your natural energy to invite soul growth. And then embody your unique energy to create a heart-based lifestyle. So I hope that provides you, along with what you wrote here, a bit of an insight for today. And it so happens that I want to offer you one of my most popular offerings here. And I extend a little bit of a discount for you here. The offering is called Soul Growth Starter. And that is, if you don't know what your natural energy is and want a blueprint, if you will, this offering is using both tools such as astrology and human design, as I mentioned before, but also energy healing, suggestions for how you can surround yourself with support tools such as crystals, essential oils, to begin to live and embody your unique natural energy. So today I offer 30% off of that offering, and use the coupon code STARTER. And you should have this link as part of the presentation information that you received. And if not, you can take a picture of this and go to the link below here that I'm showing. All right, so that was very quickly what we have about 2 minutes left. And I want to invite you to put some questions in the Q&A here. Maybe I can receive and respond to about 2 of them or so. But the question is, do you want to live a heart-based lifestyle? Inspired, feeling alive, using your intuition, ease and flow, feeling community and connected. All of that is entering your life when you invite a heart-based lifestyle. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen here and see if we have any questions. Let's see here. Nice. I don't think we have any questions, which is perfectly fine. Thank you so much for joining me for this presentation.